Hello everyone, this is Robert from Black Belt Gaming, still working on Spider-Man's data file. We're going to talk about specialties next. And you see 8-sided dice and 10-sided dice. And the keywords here are expert and master. Let's find out what specialties are, and then we'll take a look at Spider-Man's specialties. Put simply, specialties are advanced training and skill. You can have them in a variety of areas. They're pretty broad, and they can represent all kinds of things from combat to being a spy, understanding psychology, all kinds of different areas. Here we have a little artwork regarding Daredevil being I believe an acrobatics master. He and Spider-Man share that specialty at the same level. So when it's time to choose a die for your specialty, you look over your different skills and see which one is most relevant to what you're trying to accomplish. For example, before we talked about Spider-Man going into the burning building. Well, that would definitely fit with acrobatic master, the way he jumped up high and swung in through the window. Each one of these different areas has a useful description in the book. Some things are quite easy to understand right away, such as combat expert. Basically, if you're in a hand-to-hand fight or even a ranged battle, anything dealing with combat, you're going to very easily choose that dice or that die to add to your pool. But it could be a battle of wits, and you might want to use some other specialty. It could be a situation where you're attempting to be very stealthy and infiltrate some hidden lab somewhere and not be discovered, so you might be using something like covert. You might be trying to understand some advanced alien technology, and therefore you might use tech or science. There's all kinds of different things you can choose, but try to make the best choice for the situation and take one and put that die in your pool. You have the option, though, of taking something like science expert at a D8, and if you would rather convert that to 2d6, you can. So you don't get both of those. You get to choose. Are you going to use a d8, or are you going to step it down and break it into 2 dice, 2d6? And you can do this with master as well. Like acrobatic master, you can decide, well, I'd like more dice for my pool, so why don't I use 2d8 instead of a d10? Or maybe I would really like 3 more dice for my pool. Let me use 3d6 instead of the d10. So what you're doing by stepping it down is, and using more dice of a lower type, well, you're giving yourself more die for your pool, but the disadvantage would be that there is a higher likelihood of you rolling a 1. Well, down here at the bottom, we see something called milestones, and these are a way to earn experience points for your character. There's nothing about this part of the data file that goes into your pool, but I just wanted to mention that these guidelines here for earning experience points really help you understand some of the goals that your particular character has in mind, something that they particularly want to accomplish. Something could be very personal for them, something that's very much in the spirit of that character from the comic books. So those are a helpful guide, and we'll talk a little bit more about these and which one to use later, but let me just mention one example. Let's look at the very first one, team player. So you get an idea that Spider-Man's probably a pretty good team player. You can get 1 experience points when you give support to another hero not already on your team. So you get an idea that Spider-Man is pretty compassionate and trying to do the right thing, and if he sees another hero in trouble that may not necessarily be a part of his group, he may try to help them out. And if he does that, that's in the spirit of this character, you're going to earn yourself 1 experience point. So usually it goes 1 XP, 3 XP, 10 XP. Alright, next let's talk about forming that pool and take a look at a sample action. So going back to the first film, a building's on fire. There is a policeman outside who wants to arrest Spider-Man, but Spider-Man is going to head into that burning building no matter what. The policeman knows that it's the right thing to do, but he doesn't really trust Spider-Man fully. And Spider-Man says he's going to take off. He shoots out some webbing up near the window, pulls himself up high, and then swings in through the window inside the burning building to begin looking for a child that is screaming from inside the building that's about to burn down and collapse. So how would we form our pool to do that? We've gone over the data file. We would say affiliation. I would say this would be a solo. We would take a D8. Distinction. We're going to go with the D4 since it's friendly neighborhood hero with a question mark. He's not fully trusted. That's going to give us a D4 to roll, but we're going to take a plot point as a bonus for taking the smaller die there. Powers. What powers are we going to use? Why don't we use superhuman reflexes? Spider-Man's going in there lightning fast. A D10. He's going to use web slinging. He's going to use his swing line to get up to that window as fast as he can. That's a D8. And he is an acrobatic master. That's going to help him twist and contort his body in just the right way that he'll get into the window without hurting himself. And we'll use a D10. So if we go back to my first video about rolling the dice for the pool and how to get our result, we would take all of these dice and roll them. And remember, we're going to take 2 dice that we want to keep. We rolled 2 9s there. So we could say, alright, that's going to give us an 18. And then out of these other dice, it doesn't matter what's on the face. We just pick 1 to be our effect die. And why don't we choose the D8 for that? That represents how successful or how well we accomplished our action. So 18 and a D8. We would compare that probably in this situation to the Doom pool, which is rolled by the Watcher. Well, that about sums it up. That's how you take a look at your data file and choose the different sections. You take a die from each section and form your pool, and then you make your roll, and you get your total and your effect die. That's the basic mechanic of the game. The Watcher, who is running the Doom pool, is going to be rolling against you, and at times you will be rolling against him or her. And we'll talk about the Doom pool in a future video, and I will probably show you some sample gameplay. We'll just run through some different situations and roll the dice and see how that works, including the one who's making the attack action, and then someone who might be rolling a reaction to that, and how that plays out. Well, thanks for joining me for going over Spider-Man's data file. We'll be back with some more Marvel heroic role-playing very soon.